Hello fellow food lovers. Today I will be making Chinese seafood and soft tofu stir fry using shrimp and scallop. You will need 6 medium shrimp, 6 medium scallop, 2 blocks of soft tofu, and 2 stems of Chinese greens called yu choy, also known as choy sam. For the sauce, you're going to need 1 tablespoon of minced ginger, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of chicken powder, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. So there's a little knob of ginger. I generally cut the skin off before I mince it. So you want either a julienne or a fine mince. It's up to you. And we have 2 stems of yu choy, which is a Chinese green. You can also use Chinese broccoli, which is called gailan, or bok choy, or even su choy is fine, or napa cabbage. We just need a little bit of green for the stir fry. Okay, I have 6 scallops there. They're medium sized. And I have 6 medium shrimp. So I'm going to shell those. They already came deveined. So it's easy to shell them if they're already deveined because you can just peel the shell off from the back. And make sure to take the tail off as well. So this is a pretty common dish in Hong Kong restaurants. Generally, when you look at it on the menu, it'll be called seafood and soft tofu hot pot. And the hot pot that they refer to is a casserole dish. It's a tall casserole dish that looks like a clay pot, and they'll serve it like that. But I'm just going to serve it in a pie plate. Yeah, so in Hong Kong on the menus, it'll be called seafood and soft tofu hot pot. Okay, so I got 2 blocks of soft tofu. You can use firm tofu, but the kind of the tender texture of the scallops and shrimp go really well with soft tofu instead. You could use soft tofu or silken tofu. Okay, 2 blocks right there. Okay, let's get cooking. So we're going to cook the shrimp and the scallops first. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of cooking oil into a hot wok. Because the shrimp and the scallops cook at different rates, I'm going to cook them separately. So I'm going to put in the shrimp. So you want to spread the shrimp out along the bottom of the wok. And then when the bottom half of the shrimp turns white, turn it over to cook the raw side. And once the bottom is white as well, just remove it and set aside. It's ready to use. So the seafood we're going to put into the stir fry at the very last minute. So it needs to be fully cooked before you take it out. But shrimp cooks quite fast. Like once the meat turns white, it's done. Okay, the shrimp's done, so I'm going to take it and put it aside. Then I'm going to put the scallops in now. So same like the shrimp, cook one side until it kind of turns white or changes color on the bottom, and then flip it over and cook the other side. And when the when the scallop changes shape, when it becomes firmer looking, then it's pretty much ready. So you should get a bit of browning on both sides of the scallop. Okay, I've turned the scallops over. It's been a few minutes. As you can see, it looks pretty much done, so I'm going to take it out now. I'm going to add it with the shrimp. So it looks like the wok's got little pieces burned onto the bottom, so I'm going to wash it. So it's washed and heated. I'm going to add another 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. And I'm going to add the ginger and fry the ginger for a bit. So the ginger is going to flavor the oil, and in essence it's going to flavor the sauce as well. So you want to give the ginger a nice stir fry by itself. Ginger goes really well with Chinese green vegetables like yu choy and gailan and bok choy. Okay, I'm going to add the Chinese greens, the yu choy, also known as choy sam. So you want to give the Chinese greens a little bit of a stir fry before you add the water to make the sauce. You don't want to burn the leaves, but you want to wilt it a bit before you make the sauce. You want to mix it in with ginger as well. Okay, I'm going to add 1 glass of cold water. Then I'm going to add the seasoning. So I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of chicken powder. One teaspoon of sesame oil. One tablespoon of soy sauce. And 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. So the water's come up to a boil, so you want to stir it, mix the sauce in with the water. So while it's boiling, we're gonna make the cornstarch slurry. So 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and 1/4 cup of cold water. And give that a stir so that the cornstarch dissolves in the water. Okay, we're gonna add the 2 blocks of soft tofu. So I like to cut 2 layers, and then I'm gonna cut 3 or 4 across and 3 down. Yeah, so cut 3 layers. Oh, yeah. Cut 4 across and 3 down. Yeah, it makes nice blocks. It depends on the size of your tofu as well. If you have smaller tofu, you'll make fewer cuts. Okay, wait for that to come to a boil. You want to bring it to a boil so that the tofu warms up or cooks slightly. Tofu is pretty much ready to eat out of the package, but if you're going to serve it in a dish, you want it to be warm or hot. So, okay, so the tofu's been boiling for about 2-3 minutes in the sauce. I'm going to add the shrimp and the scallops now. Give that a stir, mix the seafood in with the tofu. So if you really like seafood, you can add more. You can add maybe 10 shrimp, 10 scallop, or even more. It's up to you. So the main flavor profile is well, it has the shrimp and scallop flavor, but most of the ingredient is tofu. So the cornstarch slurry was added. Then we're going to stir it up, make sure that the sauce thickens evenly. So in Chinese restaurants, this dish is generally served in a casserole dish, or it's called a hot pot in Cantonese restaurant lingo. It's not the same as hot pot, like cooking in a steamboat or cooking at a table in broth. This is just a casserole hot pot. But I'm serving it in a glass pyrex pie plate instead. Okay, there you go. That is seafood and soft tofu stir fry with scallop and shrimp. Okay, bon appetit.